everyone, Phoenix Knight here. Welcome to the channel, and welcome to a new playthrough on the channel. After a busy day last week in the skies of World War II and on the baseball diamond, we're going to be headed into another busy day. First up today, we're playing Age of Innovation from Feuerland Spiel. This game is very similar to Terra Mystica, where we're trying to build up our living space for our group along with schools, universities, and stuff like that. Our goal, as usual, is to have the most victory points in the game. So, let's meet our faction today first. Today we're playing as the Psychics, with Forest as our starting terrain. So we've got our first two workshops out already, which will give us 2 extra tools. I promise I'm going to try to use the actual Age of Innovation name, but some of these are interchangeable. The special action for the Psychics is they gain 5 power and then can take another action. The starting resources, we start 1 up on each track, along with 3 tools and 15 coins. We'll have another tool from the Psychic, and then we start up another level on the Economy and Medicine tracks. So I think that's everything there for the Psychics. Now let's move over and meet our Automa faction. With us playing as a Forest faction today, the Automa will be using the Desert. The general rule is there's a wheel, as you can see here, as far as the number of spades you need. So depending on which faction I'm playing as, I'll set the Automa up with a faction on the complete opposite side of that, so we're not fighting each other for space as much as possible. Then we'll work our way up toward the science tracks. We'll stop off at the bonus tiles first. I'll zoom in here. So our 5 bonus tiles for today. First, we've got advance 1 on any track as a special action, and gain 2 tools on income phase. Then when you pass, you get 1 point per, I believe that's that's advance 1 level in a discipline per school you have built, and 4 coins on income. This one gives you gain 4 power on income phase and 2 coins. This one is take a free build a workshop action with a free spade and gain a book on income. This one, when you build on I believe that's a border hex. When you build a workshop next to a river hex, you score 2 points, and you're considered to be up 1 on the shipping track. So this one will go to the Automa, and then which one do I want? I think here I'm going to take the build a workshop with a free spade and a book on income, with a free spade and a book on income phase. Now we'll tip up toward the science tracks, and we'll see that we've got our 4 tracks here. So the Automa, I forgot to mention, is playing with the Simpletons faction. When they have a faction action come up, they'll be transforming and building into the desert and gaining X victory points. X is they're playing on the easy difficulty, so it'll be 0 for the first 2 rounds and then 1 for the rest of the game. They'll also advance on the shipping track, depending on the turn of the game. So the Automa's in yellow, which means they're starting up 1 on each track. I'm up 2 on economy and medicine, and I'm up 1 on the other 2. The dummy player is in blue, up 2 on all tracks, since they've already got a scholar at each of those tracks. As long as we can see it here, let's go ahead and go through our round actions, our round bonus actions. So round 1, for every guild we put out, we gain 3 victory points. Every 4 we're up on the medicine, we get a spade, and the Automa will get 2 victory points when they pass. Round 2 is the same thing for the action, except this time 3 law gets us a book, and the Automa will get 2 victory points when they pass. Round 3 is looking at advancing on the shipping or terraforming track. You get 3 points for that. Every 3 we're up on engineering will get us a scholar, and the Automa will get 2 victory points. Round 4, every innovation we're able to take is worth 5 points. 2 up on law will get us 3 power, and the Automall will get 4 points. Round 5, once it decides to focus, will be all about putting, for every workshop we put down, we get 2 victory points. Every 3 on law gets us a scholar, and the Automall will get 5 points. Round 6 will have 2 bonus actions. If I can hold it here. Come on. There we go. Every school we put down is worth 4 points. And when you build I believe that one's actually a workshop on a border hex, you get 3 victory points. Let me see if the quick reference explains that. That'll be in the manual. And yes, every time you build a workshop on a border hex. Border hexes will have at least 1 dashed side, and it decided to come out of focus again. There we are. And the Automall will get 7 victory points when they pass at the end of the game. When they pass to end their game. So that's everything for this side of the board. Now let's move over and look at the innovation and competency tiles. We also need to look at our palace tiles while we're right here. In fact, let's do those first. So always available for the palace tiles, get 2 power on income and a one-time burst of 10 victory points. Looking at our other possible tiles that we have to choose from for palaces, 6 power on income, and one time we get 2 books, 2 spades, and 2 bridges. Then our other possible palace tile is 8 power on income, and every time we put down a dwelling, worth 2 victory points. That could be worth speeding to, especially in round 5. But working up on the board, we're going to look at the competency tiles next. So each competency tile has I'm going to see if I can get these out of the way a little bit more so we can see a little bit better. There we go. So each competency tile comes with a bonus of either some combination of books and advancing on the respective tracks. So we'll start with the economy. So 2 books and a level on the economy track for every time you pass, you get victory points equal to your lowest level. I don't like that. I've never liked that tile. And then for 2 on the economy track and an economy book, 1 time 2 annexes. Every time, so basically a building with an annex would count as an additional power for power purposes and for building cities. Then for 3 on the economy track, and once per round action to gain 4 power. Then moving over to law, 2 law books and 1 on law track. 1 time 2 spades. There's a fair amount of stuff on law, so I kind of want to be paying attention to these. 2 on law track, 1 law book would give us. Every time we send a scholar, we send a scholar and advance on a track, we get 2 victory points. Then for advancing 3 on law, we get to place a neutral tower, and then we get 2 power and 2 coins on income. Looking at engineering next, 2 engineering books and 1 on the engineering track. Every time you pass, you get 2 victory points per city you've formed. 2 on the engineering track and an engineering book gives us does not want to focus this morning. There we are. Every time you place a dwelling on a border hex, get 3 victory points. That's similar to one of the actions in the last round of the game for bonus points. Then for 3 on the economy track, or not economy, engineering, book and a power on income. And looking at the medicine track, we've got a couple, actually the first round is sensitive to the medicine track. So this one's 2 medicine books and 1 on the medicine track. Getting a tool and advancing 1 on any track on income phase. Then 2 on medicine track and a medicine book. Three victory points and 2 coins on income. And 3 on the medicine track. For a one-time bonus of a tool, 5 victory points, and 2 coins. Next up, we've got the innovations, which go on the board. So costing 2 economy books and 3 of anything. 3 of any book. Is one-time steal. Let me see. I'm still kind of learning these innovations a bit. Alright, so for steal, that's an immediate thing once it decides to refocus. Let me see if I can put this down here. Come on. Alright, it's a one-time, but based on the number of bridges you have on the board. For 1 bridge, you gain 8, 2, 10, 3, 18. Bridges have to be connected to one of your buildings. Then costing 2 law books and 3 of anything, plus 5 coins. By the way, for all of these innovations, if you also don't have your palace built. You get to place a neutral university, which you don't get a competency for this one, but it allows you to found a city with only 3 buildings, and you get 2 victory points on income phase. Then for 2 engineering books and 3 of anything. One time you get 2 victory points per workshop you have down. I believe. Yes, 2 victory points per workshop. And then 2 medicine and 3 of anything. One time bonus on communications. Where is that one? Oh, here it is. Based on the number of building groups you have on the board. 1 or more that are adjacent. For 4 groups, you gain 8 points. 5, you gain 12. 6, you gain 18. All right, then we've got a couple of combined innovations. This one's going to would cost 2 economy, 2 law, and 1 of anything. One-time steam power bonus. You get a scholar and 1 free upgrade on each of your terraforming and sailing tracks. Gain the usual rewards for that. And then costing 2 engineering, 2 medicine, and 1 of anything. One-time bonus of taking a palace, gain 2 new power into both 3, and gain 4 power on income, but you don't get a palace tile for that one. Okay, that's everything on this side of the board, so now let's move over to the main board and finish setting up over there. Mostly in finishing setup over here, it's just going through the book actions because we've got all of our power actions being the same. So our book actions today, we can spend 2 books for 6 coins, or we've got another 2 book action to, I believe, that would seem way broken to be 2 victory points per guild you have on the board. I don't think that's what that book action entails. Nope. Oh no, it is actually. That is 2 victory points per guild on the board. That seems really broken. And then this one is spend 3 books to build a workshop action with 3 free spades. Yowza. That could be interesting as well, but I think we're all set to get into this game. We'll zoom out here just to see that we're at 20 victory points to start with. I've got everything set up here. So let's jump into round one, where our first goal is about building guilds. Oh, and I also put an extra coin on the 3 tiles that weren't taken. So I'll actually remember that this time around. Now that I've got that done, income phase, I'll gain 3 workers because, I just did it again, 3 tools. And I gain a book. I think I'm going to gain a law book since I have a feeling, well, do I want a law book or do I think I want... Yeah, I'll take a law book for now. I'm not doing anything with it for the time being. And then I'm first player. Trying to adjust the camera there just a touch. Let's see, what do I want to do? I think I will go ahead and put down a guild right away. So that'll cost me two tools and 3 coins for the one I'm going to be upgrading. So that'll give me a 2 spot back and my 2 tools. I'm going to upgrade this workshop into a guild, and that will give me 2 victory. That'll give me 3 victory points, actually. 1, 2, 3. Now let's see what the Autumn is doing. The Autumn is going to flip over 2 cards. This one will be the support card. This one will be the action card. So the Autumn is going to be taking book and power actions, blocking 3 from the left. And they're not getting any victory points for that. Actually, 3 from the right. So 1, 2, 3, they'll block that. 1, 2, 3, they'll block 2 books for 6 coins. I'll put a discard pile over here out of the way. Looking at my turn, it would definitely be tempting to... Actually, I do need a couple of X tokens myself. I need 1 for this one and 1 for my special action. I also need 1 for on the Autumn's token, on the Autumn's bonus tile. Let's see if we can try to keep that somewhat straight. I think there's where I want it to be. I could put down a school right away and get one of these competency tiles. The advance here is on medicine. Yeah, I think we'll go with that. So we'll spend 3 tools and 5 coins. I'll upgrade this guild into a school. And then what competency tile do I want? I could take a medicine tile, and taking a medicine tile could be pretty tempting here. Especially since I want to make sure I get at least 1 free, since I could make sure I get at least 1 free spade, and then set myself up for... And then potentially, since I can take a build a workshop with a free spade, I could set myself up to take that river hex and +1 shipping track, +1 shipping for the turn, very easily. The question is, do I want to set myself up for that? Because to set myself up for that, I would need... What would I need to set myself up for that tile? I'd rather be able to use that in round 5, in all honesty. But I think I am still going to work on a medicine track. I think I probably am still taking a medicine competency. I think I'm going to take the tool and the 1 in any discipline on income phase. So that will give me 2 medicine books. And it'll advance me 1 on the medicine track, which will immediately let me gain a power. Then the Autumn's next action is they're taking a faction action around their power structures on priority B. So they'll be building on, let me find the desert. So they'll be building on this plains all the way up here. Let me see if I can zoom in a little bit so you can see. Other zoom in, Phoenix. Just adjusting just a touch, that should do. So I'm going to be building on this plains for the Automa. We'll get there. We'll get a dwelling for them and a power marker since it's around that structure. And they will be gaining no victory points for that. I don't get to charge any kind of power since I'm not adjacent to them. Then that one's gone, and the Automa's in their last two cards. So as for me, I think I am going to take the build a workshop with a free spade. I'm going to use the spade here. That'll turn right into a forest for me. And I'll spend two coins and a tool. And I'll put a workshop back down, if I can ever get a hold of it, right there. And then the Automa's potentially passing. The way we'll know if they're passing or not is if that icon shows up in that spot on the card, on the action card. So, flipping this over, they're not passing. They are advancing 1 on a discipline. So I believe that's 2 from the left, or 2 from the right. Let me double check that, how they determine advancing 1 in a discipline. All disciplines without a marker on level 12, so that's all of them. Discipline where the Automa is at 0, it's not. Discipline where the Automa's marker is closest to me. There's actually 2 of those, so they're advancing 2 from the right. So it's going to be 1, 2. They're advancing 1 on the law track. So that's all done. Looking at my turn, I think I'm going to take my special action to gain 5 power, which would be 3 into bowl 2 and then 2 into bowl 3. Then I can take another action if I want to, but I think here I'm just going to what do I want to do here? Unfortunately, I don't have the resources to do much this round, so I think I'm just passing this round. The question is, which bonus token do I want now? So I'll be first player in round 2. I would be set up except for the lack of coinage. Well, I'm going to be looking at guilds again this round. So, considered to be 1 on shipping. That could be useful here, especially if the Automa does something with upgrading this dwelling. I'm actually going to grab the 1 per discipline one per school in a discipline that you have, and 4 coins. And 4 coins on income. I mostly want the coins, but I do get an extra coin for taking 1 with a coin on it. Then the Automa's potentially passing here. The question is, they're in the last card. The question is, are they taking the action? They are. They're trying to upgrade. So they've got any workshop they can upgrade to a guild. Right. If they have a guild workshop available, Automa workshops adjacent to any of my buildings. So they're going to be upgrading this workshop into a guild, not gaining any victory points, but I do have an option to spend a victory point to gain 2 power, and I think I will. So that'll move 2 into bowl 3 for me, which means that'll be ready for me to use next turn. The Automa doesn't get any victory points for the card, but for the end of round, they're taking the round booster that I just had, which means that one will go back. The Automa will get 2 victory points. We'll rebuild the deck. Give that a shuffle. Then we'll take care of advances and we'll take care of science advances in a second. Or, yeah, science track advances. So I gave the Automotor 2 victory points. I'm not up high enough on medicine to get the extra spade, and then the dummy player is going up 1, 2, 3, 4 on the science track. So that round, that bonus action is done. I want to make sure I put these in the right bag so I keep everything organized. That's not what I want. This is. I was just looking for the right bag off camera. So now we've got that all sorted out. We're on to round 2 next, where now the goal is still on putting out guilds. On income phase, I get 4 tools because I've got the competency tile that gives me a worker plus 3, or a tool plus 3 for my dwellings, for my workshops. I get a scholar, 4 coins, and I can go up 1 in any discipline. Let's see, this one's about law, so I think I'm going to start working on the law track on that note. We'll tip up to the board, and I'm first player, so I've got some options in front of me. Which I think I'll start off with my special action, which will give me 5 power, which will let me advance 5 power. And then I can immediately take another action with that. What do I think I'm going to need? Do I think I'm going to need workers, coins, or scholars? Or tools, coins, or a scholar? Actually, shipping it... I think for now I'm going to spend 4 power to get 2 tools. I can always come back and grab the 7 coins later. I'll take that for now. Then looking at the Automa's first action, they are taking a faction action around their no power structures on priority B. So they have no plains adjacent to them. They do have a mountain adjacent. Actually, they do have a wasteland adjacent to them, which is right here. So they'll be building that, building a workshop there, and getting no victory points for that. All right, as for my next action, I think now I will come back and I'll grab the 7 coins, since I'm probably going to need those at some point this round. I may want to send a scholar over to the law track pretty soon, especially since we dodged a send a scholar card. Next up for the Automa is they're advancing 1 in a discipline where they're closest to me. If this was round 3 through 6, they'd be taking an innovation, but since it's not, they're advancing in the... Actually, there's 2 where they're closest to me. So they're advancing 2 from the right. 1, 2, which means they're going up in law again. Okay, so that one's done. Then coming back to my turn, I think I will send my scholar over to the law track, so I can get that bonus this round. 1, 2, 3. That'll let me cycle 3 power once again. Thank you very much. Then looking at the Automa's next action, they are taking power and book actions, 1 from the left this time. So they're blocking off 2 books for 6 coins and 3 power to build a bridge. Let's see, coming to my next action. Do I want to try to put another guild down? I could also put down... I would be 1 short of being able to get my palace this turn. I could set myself up for that next turn, though. What to do? That'd be 2 and 6 to put down another guild. Which I think is what we're going to go with. So I'm going to spend two tools and 6 coins. We'll upgrade this workshop. Trying to put this back on the board, and it's proving a little bit fidgety. We'll make that a guild. That'll give me 3 victory points. 1, 2, 3. And then the autumn is potentially passing since they're into their perpendicular section of the deck. They're not, they're upgrading, so they've got workshops that they can still upgrade. As far as the tiebreakers go, there's nothing adjacent to me, so otherwise it's anything they can upgrade, and they're trying to give me as little power as possible, which all of them would give me no power, so there's that. Directional selection is coming up 1 from the bottom of the board. So they're upgrading this workshop to a guild and getting no victory points for that. Then for my next turn, I'd basically clean myself out of resources, but I could put my university down here. That would give me another competency tile, which I'm not completely opposed to. Plus I'm getting another, well, that would give me another competency tile and potentially an innovation, but I don't know if I want to take an innovation, especially with not having my palace on the board. We're about law, so I'm already up enough to get I'm getting at least 1 book coming out of this round. Let's see, that would be 2 free spades on the law track. If I do that. There's a lot of good options here. Nothing on the economy track, so I'm not worried about that. I think I am actually going to put out my... Do I want any of these palaces in particular? Because I would have enough resources to put that out, and I could put that down here, which wouldn't be an all terrible idea. The 8 power on income and 2 victory points every time I put down a dwelling would be very useful. And there's actually coming up where we would need to be able to put down workshops. So I think I am going to go with that plan. So that's going to bring me down to 3 coins. Actually, that's 6, yeah. And 4 tools. I'll upgrade this guild into my palace there, and I'll take the 8 power on income, and every time I put down a workshop, it's worth 2 points. But I'll probably be passing on my next turn. But the Automa's in their last card right now. The only question is if they're taking the action. They are not. They're taking the same round booster they had. Then we'll rebuild their deck. They also get 2 victory points. So 2 victory points for the Automa. Then with 3 coins and a tool, and a tool, I don't think I'm doing much with that. So I think I'm going to pass as well, which will let me advance in any discipline now that I'm passing. I could go up in law and make sure I get another book. And now that I've got my palace on the board, the innovations start to become an option, which is round 4. So I think... Let's see, so I think I'm passing. The first question is, what discipline do I want to go up in? I think it's probably law, in all honesty. Like I said, that way I get another book out of the deal. And then the booster I actually want is going to be I think here I could start putting down serious workshops, but I'd rather use that. I'd rather use this round booster for next to a river hex in round 5, because I can double dip on the workshops, and I can double dip on workshops for the bonus action and bonus victory points for the river hexes. So I think I'm just going to take the 4 power and 2 coins on income, which will also give me an extra coin for that. So they were second player, they'll be first player this round, and then I'll be second player heading into round 3. So the Automa, I gave them their 2 victory points. I get 2 books because I'm up 6 on the law track. What 2 books do I want? Good question. See, that would give me a 1 off of 2 victory points per. I don't know that I really like any of these innovations, to be perfectly honest. That would give me a 1-time palace, which. Problem is that would be very expensive because I would need to be able to terraform into that terrain. I could set myself up to just take that now, but the question is I wouldn't even have enough workers to get to it right now. Plus next round is all about advance. Well, I could set myself up in a couple of rounds for that. So actually, round 4 is all about the innovations, so if I'm setting myself up for that, that could be worthwhile. So I think I will take 2... I think I will take 2 engineering books. I'll kind of play a little bit of a long game on this one. Alright, so that's all done. That tile can go... Oh, and the dummy player advances 3 in law. So 1, 2, 3. The dummy player's in blue, I forgot to mention, by the way. So that booster, that round action can go back to the bag. And then we're into round 3 now, where we're looking at advancing on the shipping and terraforming tracks. On income phase, I'm going to get 1, 2, 3 tools, because I have the competency tile for that. So 3 tools. Total of 12 power, so that's going to move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 2 coins. And a scholar. So this is a round where I'm probably not doing... Well, I was going to say I'm not doing terribly much, but that's not completely true. So as we tip up to the board, the Automa is the first player, so for their first action, it is round 2, it is round 3 now, so they are taking an innovation. They're also advancing 1 on a track where they're closest to me. The track where they're closest to me right now is engineering, so they're going to advance 1 on that track. Then for the innovation, they're counting 2 from the bottom. So 1, 2, they're going to take the sewerage, which I kind of had my eye on, so that really hurts. I was kind of planning to grab that one, but now it's no longer available to me. So what am I doing with this round? I think with this round, good question. What am I doing this round? Well, I'm definitely going to advance on one of my tracks. So I'm going to start off by... I'm actually going to start by spending 4 power. If I can ever make it cooperate with me. Yeah, 4 power. I'll gain 7 coins to start the round. That way I've got my options open to me for a little bit this round, because I may be trying to get another scholar and potentially go up on both tracks. Looking at the Automa, they're upgrading a building adjacent. Actually, let me double check their priority. They have guilds available, so Automa Workshop is shops adjacent to any of my buildings, except none of them are. We should also have coins out on I'm terrible at remembering these coins. Now that we've got that figured out. Let's see, so now they're trying to upgrade workshops to guilds. They'd be giving me no power with either of the workshops they can upgrade. Coming down one from the top of the board, they're upgrading this workshop to a guild. And now they're getting 1 victory point now that it's round 3. Heading back to my turn, let's see, that would cost me a total of 9 coins, a tool, and 2 scholars. I could easily go up, both tracks this turn, but in order to do that, I need to spend 3 power to get another scholar. So I think we're pretty much set up there. Then looking at the Automa's next action, they are taking book and power actions, 2 from the left. So they're blocking off build with 3 free spades, and 1-2, blocking off take 2 workers. They would have blocked off the scholar, So coming back to my turn, I think now I am going to go ahead and advance in the shipping track first. So we'll spend 4 coins and one of my scholars to go up to 1 on the shipping track, and that'll actually give me a total of 5 victory points, 2 for the bonus there, and then 3 because that's the bonus action for the round. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which brings me up to 30. So now we've got that sorted out. The Automa's next action is to transform and build around their power structures on priority B. So on priority B, they don't have any deserts around them. No plains, no wastelands. They do have a swamp, which is right here. So I'll put a dwelling down there. We'll get a power token for that. Oop. And the Automa will gain 1 victory point for that, so they're up to 26. As for my turn, I could spend 2 books to get 6 coins. That doesn't seem that particularly useful right now. So I think what we're going to do, now that I'm up on the shipping track, now I'm actually pretty well set up for round 5, where I can start putting definitely start putting a bunch of workshops down. So I think with that in mind, I'm going to take my special action to gain 5 power. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That way I should be able to make sure most of it moves into bowl 3 next round. Then I've got actions available to me. Then I can take another action. I'm 1 worker short of being able to put down my university. I could upgrade my lone workshop up there, but I think instead what I'm going to do is I'm going to spend 5 coins, a tool, and my last scholar to advance on the terraforming track. So now my spades only cost me 2 tools per spade I need. That'll give me 2 books. Which one do I want here? I think here, now that my spades are a little bit cheaper, I think I'm going to take 2 law books, because I can try to get the neutral university from that. Then the Automa's potentially passing since they're in their last section of the card. They are passing, which means they're taking the round booster that I've had. They of course don't keep resources, so the coin goes away. The Automa will get 2 victory points, and then we'll rebuild their deck. They will be first player going into round 4. Let's see, 4, 5, 6, 7, yes. Let's see, with 4 coins and 3 tools. Oh, what am I doing with those? I'm not getting a scholar out of this because I don't have the... I don't have the power to do much. Let's see, I'm cleaned out of... I can't really do much right now, and I don't have any of my special actions available to me, so I think I'm just going to pass as well. Which one do I want? I'm not ready for the River Hex one just yet. That's going to be next round. So that's going to be the one I want next round. So I think here I'm just going to take the advance 1 into discipline as an action and 2 tools on income. So I'll reset everything here. And then we'll be ready for round 4, where the focus here is on innovations. Also, this can... Well, before we do that, I gave the Autumn their 2 victory points. I wasn't up enough on the engineering track to get a worker, a scholar. The dummy player will go up 3 on that track. 1, 2, 3. That can go back to the bag. And now we're set for round 4, which is all about innovations. On income phase, I get a total of 4 tools because I've got 2 here plus 2 on the bonus tile. I gain another one because of the competency tile I've got. Then I gain a total of 8 power, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I gain a scholar, and I can go up at 1 in any discipline. Let's see, this round's about law. So, actually, both these last 2 rounds are about law, so I could go up to... Yeah, I think we're going to go up on the law track once again. I'll move 2 more power over, and I can get resources of whatever I need. So, tipping back up to the board, we'll see that the Autumn is our first player, once I remember to move the turn order over. So let's see what their first action is going to be. Their first action is going to be sending a scholar. So I believe that's just send a scholar. Let's see, Autumn can advance in a discipline. All options without a marker on 12. So depending on the icon shown on the support, the Autumn will try to either advance. The Autumn is trying to advance based on catch-up, so wherever they're closest to me. So they're closest to me at... Looks like they're closest to me on the economy or engineering tracks. So now we're on directional selection. 1, 2, 3, 4. They're sending a scholar to the economy track and advancing 1, 2, 3. So they're getting past both me and the dummy player. Now, in order to be able to take advantage of my plan with the innovation, I'm going to need to grab a... What am I going to need? I've got enough books for sure. So I'm going to... Well, now I need my terraforming steps to be as cheap as possible. So I'm going to start off by spending 4 power to 4 to gain 7 coins. So I need the coins for that. Then the Autumn's next action will be a faction action around their not power structures, so around this group down here on priority B. So they have a plains adjacent. They do have a plains adjacent to them, so they'll build there. Oh no, it's got to be adjacent to them. So they don't have a plains adjacent. How about a wasteland? No. Swamp still actually works, so they'll put that down there. Then they'll build a dwelling or a workshop there. They'll get their X victory points, which X right now is 1. And then since I have a school there, I can spend 1 to gain 2 power, which I will since I just spent 4 of it because I need more coins. Then for my turn, I'm going to spend 5 coins, a worker, and my scholar to go up on the terraforming track, so that's all topped off. Which means now I get 6 victory points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And my terraforming steps are as cheap as possible, which I needed them to be for my eventual next action, assuming the Ottoman doesn't screw me here and take it. So their next action is going to be trying to upgrade. They now have a workshop adjacent to me, which they can upgrade. So they are going to upgrade this workshop into a guild, gaining 1 victory point for that. Once again, I will spend 1 victory point to gain 2 more power. So all of my power now is in bowls 2 and 3. And now we're all set up here. Now I'm all set up to spend 2 of my law books and 3 other books. I'll spend my 2 engineering and 1 of my medicine books to grab this innovation for a university, which I can put down a neutral university, but I have to be able to terraform to it first. I'm going to terraform this swamp down here into a forest space, and I needed 2 spades for that. Just double check that. Yes. So I'll grab that innovation. That'll let me put down a forest there and a neutral university. Actually, yep, that's university. Okay, so that university is down there. Then I will gain... I don't get a competency tile for that, but I do gain 5 points for taking the innovation. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which brings me up to 39. But I believe that also counts as a university for all other purposes, with only 3 buildings. Let me just double check that. I'm pretty sure that neutral university still counts its power value, so I would be able to form a city right here, I believe. I'm just going to double check that real quick, though. Neutral buildings, some buildings, yada yada yada. Just immediately place it on the board, which I did. Counts as building it. Neutral buildings. For neutral buildings that don't correspond to player color, it doesn't say if it still counts for purposes of forming a city. My assumption was that it would, but now I'm not sure. My assumption is that it would count as purposes of I would assume it would count as power value, or would it specify on the card or on the tile? Neutral. Treated as if... Okay, so neutral buildings that correspond to player-colored buildings are treated as if they're building the corresponding building regarding the power value. For neutral buildings that correspond to player-colored buildings. Okay, so if it doesn't have a player-color equivalent, it'll depict the power value on the card. So the university does still give me 3 power, which means I do form a city. Where's my laser pointer? Not there. Here it is. So that means I still form a city right in here, since I've got 3 buildings, but enough power for that. So the question now becomes, which of these do I want? I think I will take the... The 7 victory points and 1 in each discipline seems attractive. Actually, a lot of these could be pretty useful. The question is, what do I need most right now? These should all be... Should these all be refreshed? Yes. No, actually, that one shouldn't be refreshed because I needed the coins to be able to do that. So now we come back to the question of which city tile do I want? Could I set myself up to get another innovation this turn? Probably not, because I'd need to get 4 more books, because I need to be able to spend an extra book to be able to get that. I'm gaining plenty of power coming out of this coming out of this round. So I think I will actually take the 8 victory points and... Will I? No, I'm going to take 6 victory points and 6 coins. We'll put that under the school. So that's 6 victory points, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 6 coins. Now that I've got all that sorted out, now we'll move into the Automa's next action. Their next action is they're taking book actions. They're blocking 2 from the left. So they're blocking 3 with 3 free spades, or 3 books to build with 3 free spades, and 1, 2, they're blocking to get another scholar. That's not great, but I can probably deal with that, especially since I'm gaining a bunch of power on income phase. But I need to keep in mind that I really want that river hex tile now. So I think with that in mind, I think with that in mind here, I'm going to spend 4 power to 4 to take 2 more tools. Then the Autumn is potentially passing here. Let's see if they are or not. They are passing, so they'll be the first player heading into round 5, which means they'll get that booster back. They'll get 4 victory points, 1, 2, 3, 4, and we'll rebuild their deck. What to do this round? The question now for me becomes, well, I'm going to be taking at least 2 more actions because I've got 2 once per round actions that I need to use up. So I'll start off by advancing 1 in a discipline. Now that I've got a city down, I could advance toward the law track, and I think I will, mostly to make sure I keep the dummy player from overtaking me there. Then I'm going to go... Then I'm going to take my special action to gain 5 power. That'll make sure most of it moves over into bowl 3. Actually, that's going to make sure a lot of it moves into bowl 5. Ready to go for... That's going to make sure most of it moves into bowl 3, ready for round 5. Actually, I think by the time I get set up here, I'm going to have all of it in bowl 3 ready to go. Let's see. Then, as a free action, I'll spend these 2 power for 2 more coins. Just to set that up. Make sure I've got enough resources to go. And I think I will spend... Actually, I'm getting a bunch of power even before... I'm getting a bunch of power before I even do anything with income phase. So, I think I'm going to spend my last 2 books to gain 6 more coins. Because I want to make sure that that's all set. I want to make sure I have as many resources as possible going into round 5. Because I'm planning on putting down a lot of workshops next round. Mostly because I want to start double dipping on points as much as I can here. So I think with that in mind, I'm going to pass. And now I want the river hex. Oop. Now I want the river hex and +1 shipping, which will give me 2 more coins, as if I didn't have enough. I'm going to make some change here while I'm thinking about it. Let's go 2, 4, 5. I want to make sure I've got as accurate a count as I can have heading into round 5, because I'm going to be using a lot, like I said, I'm going to be using a lot of coins next round. That'll give me another 5 spot. 2, 4, 5. 2, 4, and 5. Okay, I'll leave the 2 singles there since I know I'll be spending those right away. Then I'm up 8 on the law track, so I'm going to gain 8 power. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm going to end up with all of my power in both. I'm going to end up with all of my power in both 3 ready to go. So I gave the Autumn their 4 victory points. The dummy player moves up 2 on law. I'm trying to stay ahead of them. So I think with that, we're all set for round 5. That can go back to the box. Round 5, where the goal here is dwellings. Income phase, I'll start off with the power. So all of my power is going to end up in both 3 ready to go. Speaking of power actions, I'll make sure all that gets refreshed. Then I get a scholar, which I'm probably going to be using to try to stay up on tracks. I get 2 tools. Let's see, so I did the power, scholar, 2 tools. Actually 3 tools. So I get 1 more. And I get to go up in a discipline. I'm going to be spending a lot of power this round, most likely, so I'm actually going to go up in the law track so I can get an extra 6 power on income phase, and I want to try to make sure that the dummy player doesn't overtake me here. So I'm going to be very sensitive to that. Unfortunately, though, the Automa is our first player, so they're going to be starting the round off, which means their first action is going to be sending a scholar based on catch-up. So they're closest to me on the engineering track, which means they're sending a scholar there to advance 3 on that track. 1, 2, 3. All right, so what do I think I need here is the question. I'm considered to be up 2 on the shipping track for this round. And I definitely want to take advantage of that, especially now that my spades only cost me 1. So, with that in mind, I could make a lot of connections this round. The question is, how do I go about that? I think I'll start off by spending, since I'm up 2 on the shipping track, basically, I'll spend 2 coins and a tool to put a workshop down on this space up here. And then that's going to give me a total of 2, 4, 6 victory points, because I get 2 for the bonus action, 2 for my palace token, and 2 for the round booster for being next to a river hex. That gives me a total of 6 victory points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then looking at the Automa, they are taking a faction action around their power structures on priority A. Okay, this is a little bit of a problem, but probably not a big one. They've got no wastelands, no plains. They do have a mountain, which is going to cut me off up here. So that's going to be a mountain that's going to turn into a desert. They'll get a dwelling there. That'll be a power structure, and since it's round 5, they'll get 1 victory point. So there goes my plan of making a big connection around this side of the board, although I can still come down this way most likely and make that connection. So I think with that in mind, do I send my scholar over to the law track and make the connection that way? Or do I send it over to the law track? That way the dummy player can't possibly overtake me. That is a very tempting idea. What I think I'll do for now, though... That should be refreshed as well. Right now I don't have any guilds on the board, which is probably not that big of a worry, but I think I'll start by working on starting to make some of my connections. So I'm going to spend 2 coins, which that'll give me 3 back and change, and 2 tools. I'm going to need a tool to be able to terraform this lake space into a forest. Then I'll put a dwelling down there and gain another 6 victory points. That'll bring me up to 57. The Automa's next turn. Hopefully they're not going to take too many power actions. I'm not sure what I'm going to need to take yet. They're sending a scholar again. Tiebreaker for scholars. Let me double check that. Okay, they've got no markers on 0, or on markers on level 12. They're trying to advance on catch-up, which they're closest on the economy or the medicine tracks. So they're closest on economy or medicine, and it's 2 from the right, 1, 2. So they're sending another scholar to the economy track. 1, 2. Advancing there. Then, for my next action, I think I'm going to send a scholar to the law track to go up 2, just to make sure that the dummy player can't overtake me there. I'm trying to form a second city, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to. But before I go too much further, I do need a new battery. By a new battery, of course, I do mean just change my battery. I didn't want to alarm anybody there. It is the Automa's turn, so let's see what they're doing here. They are trying to upgrade. They do have a building adjacent. They do have a workshop adjacent to me now, so they're going to upgrade this workshop. Oh, they don't have a guild available to upgrade to, so hold that thought. They don't have a guild available to upgrade, so otherwise any building they can upgrade. So they're trying to give me as little power as possible, which upgrading this guild to a school would give me no power. So that's the one they're going to go with. Which actually I don't mind that too much, because I have oodles of power right now. Some of which I'm going to spend here. The only question is on what. My 3 spots are desert and plains. Which, actually, funnily enough, I've got 6 power here that I'm going to spend. 2, 5, 6. To build a dwelling with... Oh, that's 2 free spades still. That's actually very helpful here. So that's 2 free spades. I'll need one more for what I'm doing here. So that's the tools I need for that, and another coin to terraform this desert space into... Where's a forest? Here's a forest, so I'm going to terraform that into a dwelling and get another 6 victory points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then for the Automa's next turn, they are transforming and building around their power structures on priority A. So they're going to transform and build this into a desert. And of course, there we go. So they're transforming that into a desert. And they're not getting any victory points out of that. So that's something, I guess. Then as for my next turn, I am definitely setting myself up to be able to form a... I'm definitely setting myself up to form a city in this neck of the woods. I can probably build there, and then that'll turn into a city because I'll have enough buildings there. But I think for now, we're going to go two coins, and I need 2 tools because I'm going to transform this lake into a forest, build a workshop there, and say it with me, kids, I get 6 victory points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then the autumn is potentially passing here. If they pass, that's great, because that basically gives me run of the board. So let's find out if they're passing or not. They are passing, which gives them the middle booster. And they'll return that. They'll get 5 victory points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll rebuild their deck for round 6. And then the Automa will be the first player heading into round 6. Let's see, that now gives me run of the board. The question is, what am I doing with said run of the board? The real question here is, if I set myself up correctly, could I form another city this round? It's going to be tight, but I think I probably could. But in order to be able to do that, the next action I'm going to need to take is to spend 4 power to get 2 more tools. In order to be able to do that, I need to put down 2 more workshops, which is I'll spend 2 coins and a tool to put another workshop down here. I'll only get 4 victory points for that. At least I think that bonus booster was for a river hex, yep. Okay, so I only get 4 victory points for that one, for this workshop that I put down up here. Only 4 victory points, he says. Let's see, then I've still got 2 power left, which I'm probably not doing anything with, but I'll be gaining 14 on this coming income phase. Let's see, swamps are a 2 for me. So if I put a swamp down here, if I put a swamp, actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, no. I would need to upgrade 1 more building. I'd need to either upgrade or put 1 more building down to form a city here. Actually, I've got a couple of options to do that. I do eventually want to make a super city consisting of this city and then this little, well, I would say mini city, but it's kind of hard to be a mini city when you've got all those buildings there. Although, looking at that, it's 4 points for a school, or 3 for building on a border hex. But I was going to say, I don't think I'm getting to any border hexes, but I think I might be able to. I'd have to could work my way up over here to get to a border hex that way. I don't think that was, nope, that wasn't dashed as a border hex. Yeah, I've definitely got options here, but I think I want to set up to put down a couple of schools next round. So I'm going to spend 2 tools and 3 coins. I'll upgrade this workshop to a guild. And then since I'm considered to be up 1 on the shipping track this round, that will give me a city here, even though I'd have to skip 2 river spaces here in subsequent rounds. But that will be considered to be a city. So with that in mind, now what tile do I want? Now a 1 and all actually looks mighty appealing. That way it gets me up to the top of the law track, and it gives me options for advancing on... Gives me some options for advancing, especially since I know I'm getting another scholar next round. Or do I take the scholar now and try to fight some of these tracks? Because they're going up on law. They're going up 3. They're not. The dummy player's going up 3 on law. They're not going to be able to overtake me on law. So maybe I don't pick that fight. Let's see. What do I think I'm going to need to put schools down next turn? I'm getting a lot of tools already next round, and I can actually get to the top of the law track if I think that's going to be a big problem next round on income phase. But I think for now I'm going to take the... Actually, 2 spades let me turn that into a forest and solve the problem of making that connection stick through next turn. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take the 5 victory points and 2 spades, which I'm going to turn that wasteland into a forest. Then I'm going to spend 2 coins and a tool to solve the problem, to put a dwelling down, getting me another 6 victory points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And solving the problem of needing to go up again on the shipping track in order to be able to make that city stick. So now that won't be a problem. Then I'm going to spend 5, then I'm going to take my special action to gain 5 power. And what do I want to do with that 5 power? Or what do I want to do with my extra round action? Unfortunately, I'm not going to have the tools to... I don't have the tools right now to do much of anything. I could burn a power and get a scholar, so I make sure I've got that good to go for next, or for now potentially. Yeah, I'm going to burn a power out. I'm going to discard, remove 1 power from the game, move 1 into bowl 3, and then spend my 3 power to get another scholar. Then what am I doing with that scholar, if anything? There's no way I'm getting up on the economy track, so I think I'm going to send the scholar to the medicine track to go up 1, 2, 3 and tie the dummy player, where I can potentially overtake him in the income phase. And then since I'm at 8 coins and a tool, I am going to pass here. Then I think I want the... I think here, since the last round's all about schools, I want the victory, I want the booster that's going to give me 1 in a discipline per school I have when I pass. And I get the coin from that. So these technically would get coins, but since we're going to the last round of the game, I'm not going to bother. The Ottoman gets 5 victory points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The dummy player goes up 3 in law, but they won't be able to overtake me as I'm at 11, they're at 10. And then for every 3 I'm up on law, I get a scholar. Since I'm up 11 on law, I'm going to get 3 scholars, which means I could really pick a big fight over one of these tracks. And I might end up having to. So that's all done, which means that can go back to the box. The Ottoman's deck has already been built for the last round, which we're heading into now, where our goals here are schools and workshops on border hexes. On income phase, I get a lot of stuff on income phase. That's refreshed as well. I get a total of 9 power. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Actually, that's 8, 9. I get 6 more from being up on law. 2, 4, 6. I get a total of 6 coins, which hopefully will be enough for what I've got planned this round. We'll find out, though. I got another scholar. And I get a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tools. Which, well, 4, 6. Let's see, that should be enough. Let me just crunch some numbers here. That's 8. I'm at 7 right now. So as of right now, I'm 1 tool short for what I have in mind, but I don't think that'll be a problem. Well, the question is going to become, do I make the connection or do I go chasing point? Do I try to make the connection through the middle of the board, or do I go chasing points? I also get to go up. I could actually get another tool, so that's the extra tool I needed. I forgot I've got the competency tile. That's been very useful all game. And I get to go up 1 in a discipline, which I could top off law to get 3 extra power, which could be tempting, and I think I will do that. So I'll top up in law, mostly for the 3 power there. And I actually have options, so now I can get... Oh, I also get 2 victory points because I have the innovation that gives me 2 victory points. So we'll tip up to the edge of the top of the board. Before we start the turn, we do need to reveal how much space the dummy player is considered to have. So the dummy player is considered to have 12 connected spaces. Let me look at what I've got right now, because I could probably set myself up. Especially if I start making my connections here, I can probably bypass them. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. If I build on these 2 spaces, I would I would tie the dummy player, and then I have to put down 1 more workshop somewhere, which I could very easily put a workshop down here. So I could easily get past the dummy player on that, especially since the Autumn is not making any kind of connection in a million years. So we'll zoom in just a touch, and then the Automa will lead us off as our first player. So the Automa is going to start off by taking a faction action around their power structures on priority B. So do they have a desert around them? No. Do they have a plains? Yes, but that won't impact my connection plans there because I can go around that. I can actually get here. Let's see, they'll put down a dwelling on their power structures, on their power. Stay on there. Then they'll get 1 victory point for that since that's their X, and I'll cycle a power for free. Let's see, for my first action, I'm actually going to spend 4 power to gain 2 more tools. Then for the Automa's next turn, they're considered to have shipping 2 as well, so I do need to keep that in mind. As I knock the card over. They are sending a scholar based on catch-up. So catch-up right now for them is 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So they're closest to me on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They're closest on engineering or economy. 2 from the right will be economy, so I know I'm not touching them there. 1, 2. So that means I'm probably picking a fight over the other 2 tracks, which might be still worthwhile. As for my next turn, I think I will start to pick that fight a little bit. Yeah, I'm going to send a scholar to the engineering track, 1, 2, just to start catching up on them a little bit. Then for the Automa, they are transforming and building around their not power structures on priority B. Well, that one's easy. On priority B, they've got a plains right here that they can transform into a desert. Build there, which will give them no victory points. But it will give me an option to spend 2 victory points to gain 3 power, which I think I will do, especially since I'm running away with this one. 2, 3. For my next trick, I'm going to send another scholar over to the law track, or not the law track, the economy track. Not the economy track either, the engineering track, which will give me another 2 power, so 1, 2. Then the Automa is taking power and book actions. They're blocking 3 from the right on those. So 1, 2, 3, they're blocking off 7 coins. I'm at 78 victory points. And 3, they're blocking off 6 coins for 2 books, which is not that concerning for me since I don't have any books right now. Let's see, then for my next turn, how many workers do I have? 2, I've got 10 total. Actually, I can, I was going to say I can probably do both, but that's a lie. I don't think I can. So I guess the question is, I mean, I'm winning this game either way. I don't think there's any way the Automa is going to be able to make up spotting them 7, so that would get them to 53. I'm at 78. I don't think they're making up 25 victory points in endgame scoring. And I can make sure of, could I make sure of that? I probably could. Let's see here. Well, I think what I'm going to start with is I'm going to start with upgrading this workshop. Actually, do I want to upgrade that workshop, or do I want to start making connections? I think I'm going to work on making my connections here. So I'm going to spend 2 coins and 2 tools. So I can turn this lake into a forest. Once I find a forest, there we are. As I say, once I find a forest tile in here, we'll put a dwelling down there, and then that will give me 2 victory points for putting down a dwelling. It's not the bonus action of the round, but I do have the palace tile that gives me that effect. Next up for the Automa, they are taking an innovation, 1 from the bottom, so they're taking the communications with building groups, and then they're advancing 1 in a track based on catch-up. Catch-up is actually on the economy track, or not the economy, the engineering track, so they are overtaking me on that briefly. I don't think that's going to last, though. Coming back to my turn, let's see, what am I doing with my turn here? I think here I am going to make my connection. So I'm going to spend 2 coins and a tool to put a dwelling down here. Once again, that will give me 2 victory points. Then looking at the Automa, they are going to try to upgrade. They do have a guild available, so adjacent to me. They've actually got 3 buildings adjacent to me. 1, 2, 3. Directional selection's coming down 1 from the top of the board. So they're going to upgrade this dwelling, or this workshop, into a guild. Get 2 victory points for that. Then I have the option, since I have a guild right there as well, of spending 1 victory point for 2 power, and I think I will. Mostly to move that in. So I've got more options available to me. So what do I do here? I can use my scholars as workers. I do need to keep that in mind. But I think for now, I'm going to send a scholar to the medicine track so I can overtake the dummy player and get my last 2 power into bowl 3. So now I've got all kinds of options there. The Automa could potentially be passing here and claiming end of game. They're not. They're trying to upgrade, but they don't have a guild available, so they're looking for any building they can upgrade, trying to give me as little power as possible. So is there anywhere that gives me no power? Let's see. So they'd be trying to upgrade into either a palace, a school, or a university. So where would give me as little power as possible? Actually, this would give me no power. So yeah, I think they're going to upgrade that guild. Question is, they're going to upgrade to their palace, it looks like. So they're upgrading here, which will also give them 1 victory point. Then coming back to my turn, let me think here. Well, unfortunately, now I'm short on coins, unless I want to spend... I could spend power to get coins, which I might have to. Well, let's start with the... Let's go with 2 tools and 3 coins. That'll bring me down to 8. It'll bring me down to 8 coins, which is probably still fine. I'll turn this workshop into a guild. And the Automas potentially... The Automas at their last card of the deck. The only question is they're taking the last action. They are not. They're claiming end of game. So they will get 7 victory points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And that gives me run of the board, basically to run up the score at this point, if I'm being perfectly honest. So, with that in mind, I think we're going to go... 3 tools and 5 coins. 3 tools and 5 coins to turn this guild into a school, which will give me 4 victory points. 1, 2, 3, 4. And give me a competency tile. I could really troll them now, and, well, I was going to say, actually I probably still could. 2 economy books and 1 on the... I think I'd rather overtake them right now. So I think we're going to go... Question is, where could I pick a fight with them? Because I'm getting... I know I'm getting 2... I know I'm getting at least 2 on the... I can get 2 on the economy track and overtake them. But I can't advance... I'm not going to be over... actually, that's engineering I'd be looking at overtaking them on. I'm not going to be able to overtake them on the shipping track now because I don't have... Because I don't have a 3rd city and I'm not forming one. So I think what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take the... I'm going to take the 2 advances on engine. I'm going to take the 3 victory points for a workshop on a border hex. I'm mostly interested in the engineering book's incidental to me, but I'm mostly interested in the advanced 2 on the engineering track, which will let me overtake both players there and give me 2 power, all of which is already in bowl 3. So I gave myself the 4 victory points for building the school. Let's see, then I'm going to spend... Actually, I think I'm pretty much cleaned out at this point, but I'll spend my 2 tools and my scholar as a worker. And I'll have to spend 5 power as coins, 3... Oh no, actually I only need to spend 2 because I've got 3 coins there. So that's 5 to upgrade this guild into another school, which will give me another 4 victory points. 1, 2, 3, 4. And another competency tile. I think here, because why not, I'm going to take the competency tile for 3 on medicine, just to top up there. That'll give me a one-off bonus of... That'll give me 1, 2, 3. That'll give me a one-off bonus of a tool, 2 coins, and 5 victory points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Which, incidentally enough, would be enough to let me build a dwelling here. Let's see how many connected spaces I have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That's actually just perfect, because that will let me build a dwelling here for 13, and I've completely overtaken the dummy player. So, now I think my scholars are all pointless here. So, I think here I'm going to pass as well, since there's nothing else I want to do, and claim end of game. So now I get to advance... Now that I'm passing, I get to advance 1 per... I get to advance 1 on a discipline per school I have. I have 3 out right now. So I think that's going to be... it's not going to change anything. Well, actually, I take that back. Advancing 3 on economy would let me overtake the dummy player there. So 2, 3. Actually, that's banking, technically. Banking, economy, I use them interchangeably. So that's it for the game. Now let's move into endgame scoring. looking for the, here we are. I was going to say, I'm looking for the 100-point tokens because I'm going to be needing one here in about 30 seconds. So, endgame scoring starts off with the longest continuous space. This, taking that competency tile as my second to last action was very important because it let me build this dwelling out here, which let me overtake the dummy player for connected space. So, with that, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 connected spaces because I'm up 1 on the shipping track, and I took advantage of having that river border tile, that river hex tile in round 5 was actually very helpful for me. So that gives me 13. The automa's longest continuous space is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They have 4 here, but they weren't able to make this connection, which would have been a lot more dangerous. So I get 18 points. The automa gets 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, which I grabbed a 100-point tile out for that. Then the automa will get 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is not, spoiler alert folks, this one is not going to be close. Now we look at the tracks individually. The automa got to 8 on banking, I got to 5, the dummy player was stuck at 2. So the automa gets 8, I get 4 for that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now on the law track, I got to 12, the dummy player got to 10, the automa got to 3. So I'll get 8 points for that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The automa will get 2 points. 1, 2. On the engineering track, I got to 7, the automa got to 6, the dummy player was stuck at 5. So I'll get 8 points there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The automa gets 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then that's it there. Last up we have the medicine track. I got to 11. The dummy player got to 6. The automa was stuck at 1. So I get 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The automa gets 2, going up to 78. Then we'd have coin scoring, where you'd score 5 points for every coin you have. But as you can see, I was basically devoid of resource. Well, there was no basically about it. I was devoid of coins at the end of the game, so no victory points there. But man, that was not close at all. 140 to 78. We took care of business in this one. We could have easily run up the score more, but I needed those coins and tools earlier in the game, in the round. So that will do it for this playthrough of Age of Innovation. I really do enjoy this game, and I think the more I'm playing this, the more I guess I'm starting to see Terra Mystica show its age a little bit, where Terra Mystica's cult tracks don't really do much for you, whereas the science tracks definitely give you an element of strategy in Age of Innovation, similar to Gaia Project, where you're like, okay, which track do I advance in, depending on what strategy I'm going for. Like this game, I was doing a lot with power, so getting up the law... I was doing a lot with power, and the automa was advancing on the law track quite a bit. So being able to get up the law track was very helpful in this game. Similarly, you may have a different game where workers turn out to be important, so going up the economy or going up the engineering track can be helpful there. Those different tracks do give you that different strategic element to it. So being able to prioritize that way is very interesting. But that will do it for this playthrough of Age of Innovation. We're not quite done yet, though, because I had a product unboxing in last week. Or actually, I got this in yesterday. So we're going to go ahead and unbox that real quick. We've got another delivery here from Inside Sports Games, and I'm not going to resurrect the poor dead horse. We're going to let the dead horse lie. You guys know my feelings about these priority mailers. So let's crack this open and see what we've got in here. Thankfully, though, at least they tear easily enough. And we'll be greeted here, once we get the bubble wrap clear, by 2 more seasons of Inside the Crease Hockey. First up, we've got the 95-96 season. of Inside the Crease, which I've been really enjoying Inside the Crease the more I've been learning it. And we've got the 2012-13 season here as well. Once again, nice perforations, which I'll be using to tear everything open and sort it out. So that's our very quick product unboxing done on those 2 seasons of Inside the Crease hockey, along with the playthrough of Age of Innovation. Later this afternoon, we're going to be busy this week on the channel. Later this afternoon, I'm planning on starting baseball testing in earnest with another playthrough of APA Baseball. Monday night, we're going to be continuing baseball testing with Inside Pitch. As for Mystical Munchies, Saturday we'll be making the dessert out of the official Halo cookbook, chocolate cream pie. Thank you for watching the video. Please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Be sure to turn on notifications so you get my content. Be well, stay safe, take care of yourselves and your loved ones, and I'll be back with more videos in the future. Until then, take care everyone.